Hey artists and creators, Jstar here, and today I want to show you how I made my series of altered playing cards, Forgotten Messengers. Alright, so let's get started on our Forgotten Messengers. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put some pattern paper on to the playing cards. Now, let me just show you, I found these at a thrift store. They were 95 cents, but 60% off, so this was 40 cents. I decided, I was like, if I get a craft pattern, there's going to be more lines on it than on a dress pattern. So look for a craft pattern. This is some kind of Christmas. The one I actually have already opened is like a Thanksgiving one, but it has all these curvy lines for leaves, and it has lots of little straight lines where it cuts out the different parts. So the first thing, so just look for that kind of thing. Look for a craft one, because that's going to be more lines, and that's going to give you more graphic fun. So I've kind of already gone through the stack and seen where I want to place the cards. So I'm just going to roughly cut out some of the pattern around where the cards are going to go, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So like that, okay? Simple, simple, simple. I like this for the double line. So we have those ready to go. And now all we're going to do is we're going to Mod Podge up our cards. Now, I'm using Mod Podge, brand label. I tried matte medium, golden matte medium, but this made a glossy surface and my inks weren't sticking to it after I adhered them. So I sealed them and went back to Mod Podge. So Mod Podge. And we're just going to put a coat of Mod Podge on. Oop, come on. I'm not worrying about the backs because I will be covering them later. And let's see. I'm just going to kind of roughly line this up. Oh, that looks lovely. And these are the jumbo playing cards, so they have that rectangle already in there. So that's a little more graphic pattern to play with. Originally with these, I thought I would use the lines on the paper as like telephone lines, and I could sit the birds on those. But this project just kind of evolved into what it is. So let's do the rest of them real quick. Can't control my playing cards today. And let's see. About that. And I'm not going willy-nilly with my sewing pattern placement. I'm kind of looking at it and like, there's that rectangle, and I can add those lines on the outside. I'm not being too perfectionist. I mean, this is skewed off that way. But I'm thinking about it a little bit. I'm not just slapping it on there. Like every layer should be thought about. Like, why am I doing it this way? And this, I'm just doing that because that rectangle mimics that rectangle. And last but not least, all right, very cool. Now, I've got those set aside to dry. I want those to dry. While they're drying, I'll show you what the next step is. Let's turn that over. The next step is adding a layer of napkin. So I found these, I think on Amazon. I'm not sure. I'll see if I can find them. But what I've done is I've cut out a little portion. Now, this is just a little wider than a playing card, okay? Want to give myself a little slack. And because I have a 2, 3, 4, and 5, what I decided was to just use a row of 2 dots, a row of 3 dots, a row of 4 dots, and a row of 5 dots. And I'm not being super careful. I'm just going row of 2 dots, row of 3 dots, row of 4 dots, and row of 5 dots. All right, so I dried these cards a little bit, and I did remember I wanted to do one more thing. Around the pattern, there were all these numbers, and I decided I wanted to add extra numbers to the cards. And of course, I'm matching them up, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay? Making them make sense. So I'm gonna throw those on, and I'm gonna throw the dots on, okay? Not this one, this one. So maybe we'll put this 2 right there. And then I'm just gonna swipe right across the middle with some Mod Podge. I've got plenty for this little stripe. And, ooh, okay, I broke that, but it's salvageable. Wipe it off as quickly as you can and get another one. Let me pause and cut. That actually happens if it's too wet, because then it will try to slide and then the tissue is not very stable. Let's be more gentle this time. Okay. Oop. See, it's wanting to slide. Come on, gentle, gentle. There we go. I'm doing it again. Okay. So let's just leave that alone. Let it dry. And speaking of dry, we're going to put Numa Dry down here in this corner. Okay. And we're going to put just a tiny bit of Mod Podge across, and we're going to go with our stripe of 3. Cool. Very cool. And 4. I think actually we might put the 4 in the middle. It's larger, so we'll see if it shows up behind the dots. A little bit of dot action. Okay, a little bit. It kind of peeks out. Kind of know it's a 4 under there. And last but not least, we've got a 5. And it looks like this is the place for the 5 over here again. Oop. Oop. Slide up there. Okay. Trying to get him within those lines. And then the row of 5 dots. That's not very centered, but it will work. Okay, so we'll let these dry, and then we'll do some spackle paste. All right, before we add our texture paste, I do want to just trim these up. So okay, so all of our cards are trimmed up, and now we're going to add some Ranger Texture Paste Opaque Crackle, okay? Ranger Texture Paste Opaque Crackle. And it's pretty easy to use. Now, one thing I noticed on this stencil is on the sides over here, it's got some cut off circles. So I kind of want to avoid that. I want my circles, I don't want a cut off circle in the middle of my card. So let's see. Now, oops, I didn't get that one. So now is the time when I'm going to decide what's my up and what's my down. Well, I put this 2 down here. This is my up. That's probably where the bird is going to end up going. Okay, so I want to fill down in here with my crackle paste. And I'm just going to kind of position it in there some kind of wonky way. And I'm gonna get a little paste. Seems a little watery to me. And you don't need very much. This is probably gonna be way too much. But I wanna hold down my stencil and I just wanna pull it across. The less swipes you can have, the better. Because every time you swipe, it can push the texture paste up under the stencil, and you kind of get this little cloudy ghost effect. But not this time, baby, because that is perfect. Okay. And then I'm just going to wipe along here just to get rid of any of those points. Okay. I'm going to put this in my drying area. And let's do another one. Now, also, probably need another piece of paper. Let's get this over here. And I'm just going to wipe this off just so I don't have any residue on for the next card. Okay. And this too. So this is going to be my up. And basically in the same general area. I'll hold this down really tight. And swipe it on. Now, I went over here, but it's easy enough to rectify that situation. Okay, you just wipe it off. And you can, if you like, don't want any of those dots up there or whatever you're stenciling. Cool, that's pretty good. Let's just do another. And now I can just scrape this up. And again, I don't have to worry if anything gets on the back of my card because I will be covering it with my signature card and stuff. Can you see that? Okay. And I've not glopped this on. I'm just keeping about as thin as the sheet itself. Okay, so I've got some little stray lines down here. Let's see if I can just carefully, you see that? This is all really going to hide in the edging, but just if I can get rid of it now, less to deal with. Okay, another one. And last but not least, and I did it again over here, but no problem. Gone but not forgotten. Or forgotten and gone. Okay, so now we're going to let our texture crackle paste dry overnight, because if I try to heat gun this, it actually won't produce as good of crackles. So let it dry naturally. Let your crackle paste dry naturally, and you'll get a better crackling effect. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry, and then we'll be back to color wash it. Okay. Okay, so our cards are dry, and you can see that crackle has really worked well. Every little dot is crackled up. So cool. I love a crackle, and this is a really easy one to use. So again, texture paste, opaque crackle is great. Now, we're going to add a little bit of Distress Oxide Peacock Feather to the crackle paste area, the area where we added that, just to give a little something something. And here's what we're gonna do. I've got a piece of glass. This is just you can use whatever. I got this out of a picture frame that I didn't use, whatever. I'm gonna put some Distress Oxide on the glass. I'm gonna spritz it with some water, and I'm gonna spritz these. Let's get a blotting paper in here. Put those out of the way for a second. something to sit these on. Okay, so that's got water. And then I'm going to spritz the card. And this is just water that I have in a little thing, little spray bottle. And I'm just gonna come and like touch the sides. Actually, I'm just gonna paint. I forgot. This actually worked just as well. I'm just gonna paint all that in here. And I kind of want it to pool so I can get some of that heavier oxide coloration in there. I might give it just a little more over here and let that run down. Okay. And I thought I'd show you, I'm just gonna put some of this on the sides. Okay. On the edges. And then if I spray it with my water bottle, then it like starts to scooch in to the rest. But I think it's easier just to blob some on. Yeah, cool. Okay, now so like over here, this is pooling up around my tube because this paper isn't level. I don't really want that. Kind of want my tube exposed. So I'm just gonna push the paint while it's still wet into that middle area. Same thing was happening here. We're getting a weird pooling, so just gonna shift it around a little bit. And I don't want those blue smudges up there. Not that it really matters. Okay, and that's looking a little light to me, so that means that's too watered down. So I'm just gonna clean this off and do another stamping. And I'm just gonna give it one little spritz of water. So it's gonna be less of a dilution. Okay, that's pretty cool. And then I thought we'd try just one thing before, while we're here, not before. I'm just gonna take the ink pad and I'm just gonna touch it down onto all those dots, maybe rub it across. Okay, so there. So I rubbed it across, but now let's take this. It doesn't really do anything. It's better just to put it on the glass and water it down. Okay, cool. Okay, so I'm gonna let those dry. I'm gonna keep watching them and kind of push my paint around if I want, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, so now we're gonna finish up our cards, and you can see that they've had time to dry. The oxide is dry, and you can see how it's settled in all those crackles, and it just looks so good. Love that. So cool. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add an extra number because I love numbers. And I got this little sheet of French number plaques on Temu, and I'm just gonna add a 2 to the 2, a 3 to a 3, etc., etc. And I'm just gonna find a fun little spot to put it in. I think right here is good. And while I'm at it, I've got these other cards I'm working on. Let's see, I think I'll line it up in there, yeah. Oh, has my 3 disappeared? I have to look. I think 4 was weird. Let's see. That's nice. I just let that one hang off, it's fine. Oh, there's the 3. I think that one's gonna fit right in that little space. Yeah, nice. Okay. Now I do want to look at my birds and find how I want to place them. And let's see. On my previous two, I did a pair of birds, but I don't know that I'm going to do that again. That one covers that up. I don't want to do that. A flying bird. It's kind of nice. Yeah. This one sits in there a little bit back. That one feels too big now. Maybe this is another flying bird. Yeah. Or, let's see, maybe this one looks the other way. I like that better. Okay. And these birds I also got on Temu. Right there. Or right there. Right there. Right there. Oop. Okay, so we're going to glue these down. They are stickers, but it's better to just glue them. Okay, so I have all my birds glued down and stuck down. And I think they look pretty cool. The cool thing about this is the bird is the focal point. They're called forgotten messengers, but it's sort of an anti-focal point because it's the absence of a focal point. It's the shadow of a focal point. So it's kind of cool, I think. Now, because they're messengers, I decided I would add a postage stamp, okay? Just always thinking in theme, like what makes sense to add. You don't want to just add stuff wildred mildred. Now, I just got these and it's so cool. The Tim Holtz Ideology 2024 sticker book, which is called Postmarked, and it stamps in the rainbow of colors. And actually, when I made my first batch, I didn't realize there was a page after dark green that was these blues. Actually, it was one more that was the teals. And so I'm just going to look through here. And I'm going to get, look, there's one with a 4. And I'm just going to put a little glue on it. I'm going to put it down here in the corner. And then there's a 5. So just do it. See a 3. Here's the 2. It's a little more green than turquoise, but I've got a trick. Oh, need some glue. I've got a trick for that. It's not too bad. It blends pretty well. But okay, there's that, and we just need a 1 with a 3, which I don't think I have. So I think I'm just gonna put this 30 on there. That's pretty cool. I'll just let that be there. Straight. And I forgot to glue it. Try to get it straight. All right, so that's a little green. I'm gonna come in here with, there's nothing on that. So I'm gonna come in here with some of this and go on the edges, but then wipe out the middle. And then that just blends that in so nicely. And we're just gonna do that to all of them because I think it's nicer when they just kind of fade in to the background. That cool. Even though they are somewhat, this is very blue, so that will be nice to just turn to peacock feather. Just rub some of that back. And I'm holding my brush at kind of an angle as I'm trying to just catch that little edge on this one. I'm gonna try to leave that little circle white as it is, or creamy beige. That looks cool, right? Okay. And I did remember there's one more step, but before that step, we can just give the edges a nice aging. And I like to edge all my cards. This is a little bumpy bump. I like to edge all my cards. It gives them a nice frame. I mean, you're making art, so frame it. I hang my artist trading cards on the wall, but I have framed a couple that were just so art worthy. I framed them and put in my little art gallery. I got a little smudgy on there. Get rid of that. Okay, nice. A little less. Okay, those look great. And there's one more thing that we need to add. We're going to add an extra postmark to each stamp to tie the stamp to the card itself. I think they're all postmarked. That one's not. This one is. They're postmarked, but it's just the stamp. It's not, it doesn't go onto the card, of course. So I want to just marry them together. And I think I'm going to do a different one on each one. Let's see. That one is Milano. And I'm going to do this in the black soot. And I'm going to find my Milano's there. I kind of want the Milano to show. Let's see, I think Milano, cinque. I'm going to turn it like this. And there we go. Nice little postmark, and you can kind of see that Milano there. And I'll make them each unique. Let's see about Geneva. Geneva's at the top. I'm gonna, is that getting all there? Yep. And I'm gonna let that one come off the card. I think that's nice. There's Paris. I'll do the same, let it come off, but Paris is clearly visible on the stamp itself. And one last one. Let's see. How about Amsterdam? And we'll go here. And since this didn't have a second postmark, I think I'm going to go ahead and use the bottom and kind of go there. Just give it a little more detail. All right, how about that? And here they are, my forgotten messengers, with the crackle paste, the sewing pattern, washi sticker, a little extra stamp, a postage stamp, and some postmarking stamps. I really love the way these look, and that little shadow of the bird. The forgotten messengers. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. From Funkin' Dazzles, this is Jstar saying have a great day and keep creating.